Hello, hello, hello. Take two here. We're on with Master Sales Trainer Rahz Slaughter, and just very excited to have him on. We're going to try to get him on here. Actually, we're not going to try. We're going to get him on. And as you know, the Fire Hose Live Show is really just set up to give you that content, that information, that one skill, maybe to hone, or that one skill that you need to learn to be able to get your gym, your organization to the top, right? I really believe that we're one skill away. And so we're bringing Rahz on, and he's a master sales trainer, motivational speaker, author, and he really just helps people break through their limits, right? Those beliefs, those overcoming beliefs, and he helps them break through it. So we're going to go ahead and jump on. Let's see if we can get him on here. Yeah. Rahz, can you hear me?
Absolutely, my brother. How are you?
We made it, man. I'll tell you what, I'm excited to have you on, man. Really grateful.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on, first of all. I mean, I think that's a great opportunity to collaborate and share, which is always a blessing in this industry.
Man, that's awesome. Well, let's go ahead and jump right in, man, because I know I've been really excited about this Fire Hose Live, this talk with you. I know we were supposed to have it on Friday, but I thank you so much for rearranging and shifting your schedule, man, because I know you're on that hustle, shifting lives, changing lives. And also, too, on top of it, bringing systems that are able to help gym owners, not only where you're at in the East Coast, but across the nation, right? And so I know you're constantly hustling. But one of the first question I want to ask, like as far as sales, right? You being a master sales trainer, what's your belief as far as, with your staff? Do you feel like, there's a certain amount of your staff that need to know sales? Or do you feel like it's your whole staff that needs to know how to sell when the prospect is coming in?
That's a great question. Yeah, man. I mean, sales is something that I think that everybody on your team must understand. But a lot of people believe they understand sales and selling, but you have to create a system that's unified throughout your team so that your language that they all speak is the same. I'm sure you've seen it. You walk into a gym and you do a consultation, and one person's trying to sell you memberships, another person's trying to sell you personal training, another one's going to try to sell you group training. And then when you get a trainer, that trainer is trying to sell you on why they're the best. And that's not going to bring the unification of your sales process. So what I've found is that you want to have a dedicated sales closer. And that person is the person that understands the intricate parts of connecting, captivating, building rapport, and then moving someone from where they are because they are stuck to where they need to be to believe that they can actually achieve what your gym, your facility, and your service can do for them. And then it doesn't stop there. See, once someone has actually signed the paper, swiped the card, that's not a sale. All that is a transaction. The sale is not ended until you have a satisfied client who is referring and created and turned into a raving fan. That doesn't happen on day one. That actually happens 12 weeks, 24 weeks out. And this is why your entire team needs to understand the sales process so that when you get someone for a new consultation, that first session, that first workout, they think they're there for a workout. No, they're there to sell the philosophy, to sell the method. And when they sell the method and the philosophy, then that person starts to buy in to what it is that your service, your facility does that's different and better than everyone else's, the Orange Theories, the Fit Body Boot Camps, or whatever there is out there. So if you don't teach your entire team selling, then it's going to be a crux in your process. And at some point along that journey, someone's going to be able to say, hey, I got a better, shinier piece of this. I got a better option here. And this is why retention is so low in our industry, is because we think that one person is responsible for selling when everybody should be responsible.
You talk about a mindset shift, right? From the bottom up, everyone needs to know how to sell, but the way that you're selling is very powerful. And then having that one closer, I think that's just so powerful. What would you say as far as a sales method that you use, or a sales technique that you use for your team, or when you're training other gym owners and coaching other gym owners for them to be able to take on that process? What does that look like?
So I have one of the methods that I use is called Keep It Real With You. And it's really about keeping it real with them, because when they walk into your facility, they already are they're clutching their purse. They're clutching their wallet. They know what's coming. Oh, I'm in for my 1 week trial. No, you're in for your sales presentation. Like, no, so why not just keep it real with them? And if I were working with you, say that, Anthony, I say, hey, you know what? This process right now, you're coming into my gym. We're going to do something. I'm going to walk you through an exploratory session here. And this session has got a couple of different main points that we want to focus on. One, I want you to see the facility, get comfortable with it. I want you to ask me anything you want. I'm an open book. You can look on my wall. We have success there, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is you. So then what did I do there? I connected my presentation to you. And it's about you. So now I'm trying to disarm them so that they understand that, hey, I'm real. And then I do something that I learned from one of my mentors is like, I tell them a vulnerable story so that they know that I'm just like them. Hey, you know what? My wife is Italian and we eat a lot of pasta. When I got married, I gained almost 12 pounds. It was because I was not on my normal diet. Right away, she goes, oh, shit. You know what? Rahz is not perfect. He's just like me. He struggles with coming home and having cake and cookies because there's kids there. You need to make yourself human and keep it real with them. That's one of the things I do. And then another technique that I love to, and I'd like to share with your audience here today, is a simple technique that I've learned from NLP, and it's matching and mirroring. See, this is the quickest way to build rapport, whether you're selling to an audience that's 50 people doing a big boot camp orientation, or it's one-on-one. And when a lot of my clients, we have them that they own boot camps, they own small yoga studios, they own personal training studios. So you need to be able to connect with people quickly. And if you break that rapport too quickly, your sale is done. So just as you and I are talking here, I would naturally start to nod, right? Because now we are alike. If you smile, but you can't do it like that's too, aggressive. You got to do it generally. When I sit down with my prospect, if my prospect crosses her legs, I'm going to cross my legs within the first 60 seconds. Things that when people see that we're alike, then they automatically feel like, oh, I have rapport with that person. Matching and mirroring is a crucial element to selling, captivating, and then being able to get to the close.
And I really love that method, matching and mirroring, and being able to, create those similarities. And what you were speaking about in the beginning of this too, as well, is, I think a lot of the times with gym owners, or just staff or coaches, they get so excited that someone's coming in or a group's coming, right?
Right.
And they get into speaking about how great they are and what they're all, and you know what I mean? And I love the fact that you said, hey, this is what we have up here, right? We have this testimony up here, but really it's all about you. And then creating those, those similarities of kind of like Maya Angelou says, we have more similarities than differences.
Absolutely.
And being able to show that, I think that's so powerful. Because you're right, man. They're clutching their purse, they're clutching their wallet. You know what I mean? And they're like, man, you're about to attack me.
Exactly.
That's the way they feel. What is for you, like, as far as what are 2 to 3 questions that you ask? Like, those are go-to questions that you teach your team, or you teach, gym owners to ask, that's able to break the ice and get the person to really come, where, when they're first coming in, like I said, they're clutching their purse, like you said, and they're clutching their wallet, and they're like, okay, I'm going to make sure that I don't come out of here getting sold.
Absolutely.
Right. How do you, within like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, be able to take that away and then have them sign the paper and get ready to be a part of, your movement?
So the first thing I do is I teach my entire team how to do what's called observe. You have to observe. And for so a lot of times people don't notice that if someone comes in, we're in New York, you guys are out in Cali, you don't need coats and shit. But, when someone comes in, I'm looking at what type of coat they're wearing, what type of pocketbook, because you got to know your audience. If you don't know your audience, then you're going to be confused. See, so I'm looking at, is it a Louis Vuitton? Is she wearing Jimmy Choo's? Is she wearing a goose down jacket? This is all going to give me indications on what type of person and what type of buying decision she makes. So that's the first thing. And then I automatically try to break the ice. I don't go into a sales presentation right away. Can I take your coat? I want to hang your coat up. I hang her coat up. Oh, let's take a walk to the back real quick. I want to disarm her. See, because before I ask any questions, that's the rookie. The rookie salesman goes into the questions right away. Bang, 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 bang. I got this. I'm excited. It's like the first time you meet a girl and she lets you kiss her. You can't start just reaching and grabbing and everything, right? You got to go slow. And that's what we teach. Slower is better. So I walk them around, and then I'll sit her down. I say, you know what? I'll take my presentation binder, which is part of my system. I teach a presentation binder because I believe in duplication. Anything that's not a system isn't going to work, and you can't track your numbers. So you can't disbrief and say, okay, what'd you do wrong in that sales consultation? So I put the binder down on the floor. What does that do right away? Now she's like, oh, wow, he's not even going into a sale. Just tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What got you here today? Where are you with your, and then I always, this is a go-to. What was it about my ad that caught your attention? The reason I want to know that is that this gives me marketing intel. So is my copy working? Was it something specifically that called out to her? Because if she says nothing, then A, I probably need to work on my copy, because it should have been something in that copy that made her raise her hand more than just the image. The image is great, but now people on Facebook, that's the main mechanism that we use. You know, it's a dime a dozen. Everybody's putting images of fake people up there, fake clients and stuff like that. I know the people that work with you and around our don't do stuff like that, but there are people that do. So that's the number one question. Number two question, I go a little bit longer on the process, and I have a full on, 7-step process to selling, but I'll go into, is this a now or a later situation, issue, problem, challenge? Why? Because right now I'm trial closing, right? If she says, oh, you know what? Oh, man, Rahz, I've been dealing with this stress with my life for, almost 10 years. I've been overweight and losing and dieting. I can stop my presentation right there and go, you know what, Mrs. Jones? I had many clients that felt the same way you felt. But when they joined my program and they learned what I teach here in my 12-week transformation program, here's what they got. Feel, felt, found, right? And then she's like, oh, she's connected. And I draw her into a story. See, so the questions need to connect and transition your presentation. It can't be robotic. And when I teach selling, one thing I say is that I don't believe in scripts. I mean, a script is dangerous because you and I talk differently, right? And I know you personally, so I know that we resonate with where we come spiritually and emotionally and mindset-wise. But someone comes in and they're mean and negative, and you don't know what happened in their day, and you go into a script, they're going to know it right away. You got to find a way to disarm them, connect with them, and learn about them.
That's so good. That's so good. Talking about the 7-step method, right? Can you give us just some in-depth on what you do with that 7-step method?
So absolutely. Profile is going to allow to get that information on where they are. And it's already the first step of the selling process. I'm training them that they're going to take this pen and put pen to paper at the end and fill out that agreement. So they put their name, address, email, emergency contact. People are like, why would you have that there? That's crucial. They're already engaging in this process. And then that's the first step. But while they're filling that out, I'm doing something called, I'm assessing them. I'm looking at their body language. Are they turned away from me? They're closer to me? Are they laughing? And then that's the first step. Then the rapport building, right? You got to build rapport. So I ask a couple questions. One, do you have any children? Oh yeah, I have 2 children. I have 3 children. You have a newborn, right? So why would I ask that? I don't want to go into, what's your fitness goals? And how many pounds do you want to lose? That doesn't matter. I'm not human to them yet. I have a 13 and a 17-year-old. So if anyone says anything in between, I have 2 boys. One of the things, I just closed a $4,000 package before we got on here. And what I was able to do was just basically say, hey, she goes, I have a 13-year-old. I go, oh my God. Let me ask you a question. Maybe you could help me today. I said, is he brushing his teeth? Because he doesn't want to wear deodorant. She goes, oh my God, you don't know the foul smell that comes out of his room. Right away, what did I do there? We got a connection, right? We're laughing. There's a connection there. Then now I can go on to step 3 is fact finding. Mrs. Jones, it's obvious that you're here for a reason. You filled out the inquiry. You hit me up on Facebook. Let me ask you, what is it that you're seeking? And there's 3 R's in this process. And if anybody's seen Black Belt Selling Method online, they understand I've used this. It's in my Invisible Interview, which is an amazing script that I use, but it's an actual framework that you can move someone to become a qualified prospect rather than someone who's just kind of looking. And I use this 3 R's so that I can get some information. What are the results you want? What are the roadblocks you want? And what is the reality? You move them through that, game over. Now I have all the artillery I need. All I got to do is just move them through the process. You know what? What's the biggest pain that you want to solve? Here it is. You know what, Mrs. Jones? We eat that for breakfast. Let me share with you how. My 12-week transformation is going to give you A, B, C, and D. And just to let you know, that's just the beginning. We have this process and this. And you always want to make sure that you have a proprietary system. You don't want to just like, oh, I do a 6-week body transformation. Yeah, that's great. Everybody else does in their mother, right? And then you just move them through. Now you're in the fact, you got them, you fact find, you know what the problem is. Now you just got to wrap it up in a nice tight bow. Here it is. Hey, Mrs. Jones, it's obvious that you want to lose 30 pounds. My 12-week transformation is perfect for that. What I'd like to do is get you on a 2 to 3 times per week system, and then we're going to do cardio 2 times a week at about 15 to 20 minutes. You're going to get my complete meal plans delivered to you in your inbox in the next 25 minutes. As soon as you walk out the door, my assistant will take care, set your account up, and get it going. Which would you like to get started with, 2 times or 3 times per week, Mrs. Jones? Right into the close. Once you get into that, now, of course, everybody says, what happens? That's only 6 steps, Rahz. Well, 7 is objections. But if you do the first 6 properly, you never have to arrive at the 7th step. And the 7th step shouldn't happen if you build rapport, fact find, and connect. But what is everybody expecting? How much does it cost? Right? But here's the thing. If you use my system, it's a flip chart. You're just going to flip. If you can do this, boom, you're going to end up there. There's the prices. You're going to point. And one of the things I teach my sales guys, point to the one you want them to serve. So I got 2 options for you, A and B, Mrs. Jones. I'm already pointing to A because I know that's the one I want. You've already told me that because here's a little sales tip. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? So you should listen twice as much as you speak. If you do that, your prospect will tell you everything you need to know. Now, there are a lot of you've been around a lot of guys. You're helping a lot of people. You know, a lot of people say, yo, my sales skills are so tight. They're so legit, but they're winging it. What's your percentage of closing? Last year, I did almost 300 consultations. I average a 95% close rate. Now, why is that? And that's a lot of sessions, Rahz. Well, I only train 1 hour a day. So, I mean, it's really not. And the amount of consultations that I do, I've been able to close in 7 minutes. So I don't have to do all the steps when you know the process. If someone says, hey, you know what? My best friend, if I say I was out in California, I was coming to your boot camp. I know someone, and she says, no, Rahz, you got to go to this boot camp. It's the best boot camp, bar none, the best coaching motivation. I show up and say, I want to join the unlimited package. Well, here's the unlimited package. Boom. If you go into your sales process, you're an idiot. I just told you I wanted to join, right? That's a 2-minute close. You got to know how to assess that.
That's so good. That's so good. Now, in closing, as far as like the objections, right? Say you get all the way through and then you get to that, that 7th step and it's like, they're still, talking about, well, it may not even be the price. It could be the fact that, the childcare, or it could be in their mind as far as time. They're going back on past situations and past circumstances, how they ended up not being able to do it within the 2nd or 3rd month because of time, or, just those common objections that we deal with. How would you deal with that?
Great question. So the most common, depending on your audience, we'll use mine since it's what I'm very familiar with. Women. These are mothers. Some are stay-at-home. Some are career. So I understand that time is always an issue. That's why I created my proprietary system of 30-minute workouts. And it's twice the results in half the time. So I just you have to know what your market is and how you're going to match your message to your market. If you're going to specialize, you have the type of training and ideologyism. And when you do that, it alleviates the objection. So someone says, I don't have time. I go, all right, I totally get that. Well, let me ask you this. How many hours in a week? Oh, it's 100, whatever. Great. How many hours you're cooking? How many hours you working? Awesome. You know what, Mrs. Jones? I don't want to take that much time from you because what my system's designed to do is for busy women just like you. I just need 60 to 90 minutes. 60 to 90 minutes. You telling me you don't got an hour and a half for you to not only lose 30 pounds in the next 12 weeks, to have more energy, and here's the kicker, Mrs. Jones. You were telling me that you feel uncomfortable when you take your clothes off for your husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me help you with this. You give me 12 weeks, and I promise you the excitement that he's going to see at that 12 weeks is going to blow your mind. Isn't it worth it to have 90 minutes for the next 12 weeks? It's obvious. That's a no-brainer, right, Mrs. Jones? You see me? I'm nodding. That's called leading. In NLP, I'll nod and lead her to answer the question the way I want her to answer it. It's not trickery. I'm not being malicious. I know the answer because I've asked the questions. That's important. Someone says money, because that's the one that we always hear, right? The objection.
Mm-hmm.
So I truly believe that we should never pressure anyone into a sale, but here's what I'll do. I will guide the shit out of you, because I know what my service can do for your life. I'm so passionate about changing your life that it is my duty, obligation to help you make a decision, yes or no. And I say this in the beginning. I say right away, I say, you know what, my speed, Mrs. Jones, I gotta apologize in advance. My style, I talk really fast. I'm from New York. So I just need you to listen up a little faster. And if I'm going too fast, just go tell me to slow down, and I'll slow down. I'm going to give you everything I got in the next 25 to 30 minutes. At the end of this 25 to 30 minutes, I'm going to ask you to make a decision. To make that decision, either you're going to get started with us or you're not. Either way, we can part as friends, but I don't want to waste your time or mine. And more importantly, I'm not going to pressure you to make a decision. I'm just going to ask you if you want to get. It's very simple. Mrs. Jones, my prices range from anywhere from $299 to $29,000. Which would you like to get started with? That if you give them a range, they know that there's somewhere in that range that will fit their budget.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. I love the fact too as well. Like from the beginning of it, when you're speaking to them, what I heard of and learned from the approach close, right? Already let them know, so you're not jumping into later on, right? Them going, well, I need to think about it, right? Or they'll ask this person, well, no, Mrs. Jones, you said in the beginning when we talked that you said you'd be able to say yes or no, right? Because now it's not about you trying to push them, or it's not about the salesperson trying to push them. It's about them dealing with that inside of their own character, right? They're coming up against. That's just so awesome. So you got some really cool things coming up, right? You got a book that's coming out.
Absolutely.
And then also too, can you talk a little bit about the sales training that you have too as well? Because just being able to give people an option to be able to get some more information about you and about what you're doing.
Absolutely. So cool, man. I mean, thank you for that. I'm excited because I think Black Belt Selling Method is something that is a combination of 17 years of experience. It's like I didn't learn from one person. I learned from a bunch of people. I've invested tons and tons of money in learning how to sell from anywhere from people like Jim Rome, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, Bedros, all of the different people. And then I took that information and I made it into a system that I believe is foolproof. But in addition to that, this system is made for people who say, I can't sell. This system is made for people who say, I'm not a salesman. I'm a personal trainer, a coach, an expert. This system is designed for the person who's an introvert, so that I can take the guesswork out of it for you and say, here's a proven system that sold millions and millions of dollars in personal training over the last 17 years. See, that's not bullshit. I can show you contract after contract. And it's only 6 steps, basically. It's six modules. Some soups and nuts you're going to learn. And then the best part about it is that the first part we call 24-hour launch pad. And that 24-hour launch pad is designed to get you on the phone, to get you calling someone, to talk to someone so that you can practice. But here's the deal. Who are you going to practice on? We don't want you practicing on people who are going to shoot you down and crush your confidence. We're going to teach you how to call a friend, a coworker, a brother, a sister, a client, a referral that you know, and enter into that conversation very relaxed. And then as you get better and better, we're going to teach you exactly the foundation of selling. And then module 3 is the game changer. On my website, fitnessbusinessmastery.com, I have the invisible interview there. And that is the 11-minute interview that will get your prospects so warm, so excited that they're like, Come on, what's your price? I need to sign up now. And it's so super simple because, you know, like if you get a prospect on the phone and they're like, how much does it cost? Tell me now, or I don't want to come see you. You get nervous and you're all, this conversation is like, hey, Mrs. Jones, my name is Rahz from Metaburn Fitness. The reason I'm calling is that you inquired that you wanted to learn more about my program. That's great. All I want to do on this call, I have nothing to sell you, so I don't want you to think about I'm going to sell you anything. I just want to ask you a few questions and find out if you're the right fit for my program. If you're the right fit for my program, Mrs. Jones, what we'll do is schedule another appointment where we can get into all the details. But right now, all I need is about 2 minutes of your time. How does that sound, Mrs. Jones? Boom. If I believe anybody can do that, and if anyone can do that, then that's going to lead them to the invitation. How to invite them to your consultation, your orientation. And then the last module we have is called, there's two. It's the objection crusher, and then you have the onboarding. Because remember early on when we were talking about the sale isn't made until the end? The key here is understanding what you do after you get the agreement so that you can move them along, create a raving fan, get referrals so you can lower your cost per client acquisition so that you don't have to pay Mr. Mark Zuckerberg more money and you can actually keep your money in-house. And that's the program. And they get, with that program, they get those 6 modules. In addition to that, they're going to be able to get into the private Facebook group where they have myself and Greg who can answer any questions about the program and really help them adapt it. Because I'm not a guru. I don't believe I am. I'm a guy who's just in the trenches, working every day like all the other personal trainers out there, helping make an impact. And I want to answer their questions. So if they got a question, post it up. We have clients, and we did a full-on coaching program when we launched. It was $997, and it was like we did coaching and everything. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to make this even less because it's better that more people learn this system and can get out there and build their businesses. Because this is the #1 thing I think people are losing here. I mean, you can get leads now. You can run all these awesome programs. You got people like yourself helping gyms and studio owners really grow leads. But if they can't close them and keep them, shit, that's money going out the window. So that's black belt selling, man, in a nutshell. I think it's by far the best selling program on the market for fitness professionals and wellness professionals.
And absolutely, I agree, and I'm really excited too. And so we're gonna be able to post inside the comments how they can get more information about what you're doing, man. I'll tell you, Rahz, I want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for just the nuggets that you gave, man. And really what this Fire Hose Live show is all about is that really the thought process is we're only 1 skill away. And you taught about 10 to 15 skills here in this last 15 to 20 minutes. And if we could just hone one of those skills, I'll tell you what, it's going to take it right over the top. So once again, hey, I want to ask this one question. We got to do this again, man. Dude, we got to do this again. So I'm going to do a little close right now when the pressure's on, right? I already know you're ready for the pressure. But how about we do this again in late March? I know you got to check your schedule probably.
Yeah. You know what, dude? I'd love to get on here, man. And just so, I mean, I want to give it back to you before we get out of here. I want to thank you for interviewing me and having me on. It's always good to chat, collaborate, and connect with other awesome people like you and your partner. I think that, it's definitely a lot of things come down. I'd love to get back on in March. Send me the dates that you have open, and we'll get on here and just toss it up and talk about a bunch of things. But before, since we're going to flip it, remember, I still need to get your interview for my blog as well. So I think that there's a lot of nuggets that you can share with the world. So we got to set that up in as a kind of a joint collaboration. I'll come back on in March if you give me a date for about 30 minutes to interview you.
Man, Rahz, absolutely, man. I'm 100%, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You guys have a great day. Take care.
You too, brother.
Peace.